Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Coleman. I work with City of Boston Credit Union. I am a certified educator in personal finance, and today we are going to cover a little bit about rebuilding and repairing credit. As always, you can find my contact information at the end of this presentation, and you can feel free to reach out with any questions or if you require a little bit of a deeper explanation on any of the topics we cover here today.
Once you've kind of established some sort of debt repayment plan and you have an established budget going forward, another major topic to achieving financial wellness is rebuilding or repairing some credit. So, your credit score and your credit information is available to you for free, one from each of the credit bureaus. So that's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian per year, one per bureau per year. A great strategy that I've developed is take one of the bureaus and every 4 months you get a free credit report from them. 4 months later from the second, 4 months later from the third. That way, throughout the course of the whole year, you'll be constantly on top of if there's any disputable errors on there that you need to take care of, and it'll kind of give you a good understanding of your credit history and your open accounts, open loans, open lines of credit, that sort of thing. So please head to ftc.gov or annualcreditreport.com. Through those two websites, you can find access to getting your free credit report, and I can't recommend any others. Some people have brought up Credit Karma, all sorts of other products. Through my certification, the only one I can tell you and I truly trust is through the government itself. So that's one more time, annualcreditreport.com. It is available on the PowerPoint for you to see, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. But those two resources, the FTC and annualcreditreport.com, are the only ones I can recommend. So if you go on there, I'll also include a version of a fake credit report so you can kind of see pointed out what is being displayed on your credit report, and that way it'll help you have a better understanding of what it all means when you're going through it. So, like many things, your credit can improve over time. There's a couple tried and true ways to really start building it back or rebuild it from or build it from nothing if you have no credit. So, first step is pay on time every time. A commitment to make a payment late, never make a payment late again, is the greatest first step that you can make. Even one late payment can be a detriment to your credit report and your credit score. So I always recommend paying and paying on time. So another way to do it is pay down existing debt. Even if you've never missed a payment, a large debt load will lower your score. So explore ways that you can lower your interest rates or make more than the minimum monthly payments. And that way you can start eliminating the huge debt load, which is negatively bringing down your credit score. By staying on top of those kind of things, those two steps alone can really help you. But we'll jump into step three, which is avoid taking on any additional debt. Besides paying down existing debt, you always have to make sure that you're not charging on more debt or taking on more debt in another area. Excuse me. Ideally, you should not charge more than you can pay off in full the next month, but at the very least, keep balances of revolving credit under about 50%. So if, for instance, when we get into a secured credit card, if you were allotted $500 on that secured credit card, try and stay under $250 paid for the revolving credit. That way, the credit bureaus, when they see how much you're using, if they see you're consistently maxing out your available credit, it shows that this person really needs all of that line of credit, and they may not be willing to grant you more going forward, or they may up the interest rate just to kind of secure their losses and make sure that there's no circumstance that could arise where you wouldn't be able to make that payment back to them. So they try and protect themselves, and it is a negative impact on your credit score for you to be using more than the recommended 30 to 50% of your revolving credit. The final one, when looking at your credit score your credit report, is dispute any and all errors that you see on there. Many credit reports contain mistakes. It could say you have an account open in a bank that you've never been to. Victims of identity fraud unfortunately fall into that circumstance a lot, or people have been known to take out auto loans in somebody else's name. These are all kind of things that will drastically negative affect your credit report. So let it be known that you can dispute any errors that are actually legally not true. You can get a free copy of your report, as I said, from those websites up top, and you're going to want to immediately contact that creditor and contact that credit bureau with any errors that you see. And by law, the credit bureaus have to report any error that you prove to be false to the other two bureaus. So with that being said, if you find a loan that you never took out and you report it, you dispute it, you win your dispute, Experian, for example, will let TransUnion and Equifax know as well, and it will all be taken care of. With that being said, definitely keep any kind of communications between you and a credit bureau or a creditor. Keep a copy of that. Print it out, put it in a file, keep track of it. It's all to protect yourself going forward, just to make sure you have records of any and all communication between yourselves and the creditors and the credit bureaus. Okay, so going into trying to rebuild credit if all your accounts were closed, there are two main schools of thought, or basic ideas, I should say, for how you should go about establishing some credit should you have none or all your accounts are closed. So the main one I would go with and recommend is a secured credit card. Secured credit cards can be found at a lot of financial institutions. They can be found as a gas card. They could be a department store kind of secured credit card as well. And the way they work is you give the creditor money beforehand. For example, just to make it easy, we'll say $100. If I give the creditor $100 and I have a maximum of $100 line of credit on the secured credit card, even if I don't make the payment, they still have my $100 and they've essentially covered themselves to no loss. So what that allows them to do is give secured credit cards to people whose credit may be a little bit lower on the end of the spectrum. They may have no credit or they may have no accounts opened at a time. And what that'll allow you to do is start establishing some credit. You're making your payments on time, timely, and not overusing it. And your credit score is going to start going up, and it'll look better to not only the credit reports, but going down the line, if you go to get another line of credit, be it an auto loan, a mortgage, having that established credit will only benefit you, getting you a lower interest rate going forward, and your long-term payments will be significantly less the higher your credit score. One thing to keep in mind, though, with a secured credit card is be sure that that secured credit card is reporting to the credit bureaus. In some circumstances, the card won't be reporting to the bureaus. So essentially, as far as they're concerned, you haven't been making any progress, you haven't been making your payments, so it'll all be for nothing. So you definitely want to make sure that these groups or whoever you go with for your secured credit card is reporting to the bureaus. That way you'll be able to show good faith, continue to make your payments, and be building your credit score. The second school of thought is a cosigner, and I will warn beforehand that the way these work are, say you have a family member, a friend, a spouse, brother, sister, whatever it may be, that has a better credit score than you do, they can sign on with you to a line of credit, and you may be able to get a lower interest rate. But just keep in mind that by taking this route, if you are not to make your payments, or you repeatedly miss, or you're late, it's not only affecting your credit score, it's actually affecting your cosigner's credit score as well. So it has to be a very trusting relationship between you and your cosigner, and definitely know that you can make the payments so as not to affect theirs as well. And with that being said, same as debt settlement agencies, never use a credit repair company. A lot of times they'll charge an exorbitant price as well, and they'll say that they're calling credit score or credit bureaus creditors for you when you could be doing it for yourself. Or some of them have even gone as far as to promise that they can give you a new social security number. This is completely illegal, of course, and I want to remind you that there is no legal way to remove accurate information from your credit report. So even if they do find a way to get it off, it will be caught and it will be put back on there, and you may face the consequences from that. So keep that in mind going forward. Avoid them at all costs if you can. Okay, so we're going to flip over to the borrowing wisely slide. So as you can see on here, there's a example rate sheet showing the different available credit scores, the interest rate that you would get, how much your monthly payments would be, and the total amount paid at the end. So for this example, we're going to use taking out a loan, a personal loan for $500. So as you can see, at the lowest tier of 599 and below, you would be getting an interest rate of 15.99% APR, which would equate to a monthly payment of $45.36 and total paid off $544.32. Next, we'll use the middle tier between 660 and 719. For that, you would get an interest rate of 11.99 APR, which would equate to a monthly payment of $44.42 and a total paid off of $533.04. And here at the top tier of a credit score of 760 and above, you would be able to get a 5.99% APR interest rate, which equates to a monthly payment of $43.03 and a total paid off of $516.36. So just for this example, that might not seem like too much. It's only a $28 difference. But say it was a $5,000 loan, it would equate to $280 over the course of it. And the more higher and higher you go for value of the loan, you can really see kind of how having the better interest rate can in the long term save you a lot of money. With that being said, just at the bottom, a little side note: avoid payday lenders at all costs. So payday lending is illegal in some states. In some cases, the interest rate can be as high as 400%, which means, say, for that same $500 loan, you could be paying back $2,000. So obviously that's completely unacceptable, and in a sense, they're robbing you at a lower or an extremely high interest rate, thinking that you have no other available options. So you're always going to want to try and read out all your available options, see which avenue you can go, but avoid a payday lender, because the amount of money in the long term that you will lose by going with this route is exorbitant, and you'll never really truly be able to get back on your feet and be moving the right direction if you're always paying back these ridiculous interest rates.
Okay, and that is going to wrap up lesson 3 in rebuilding and repairing credit. As promised, here is my contact information, so you can feel free to reach out if you have any further questions or if you require a bit of a deeper explanation of any of the topics we covered. We hope you'll stay tuned for episode 4, which is going to handle establishing a savings plan.